Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the person you cried over, the one you couldn't stop thinking about, the one you believed you couldn't live without, has become nothing more than a distant memory. It sounds impossible when you're in the middle of heartbreak. Because when emotions are intense, your brain convinces you that this person is your only chance at happiness. But psychology tells a completely different story. The truth is, most people don't lose the love of their life. They lose the version of life they imagined with someone. And those are two very different things. The most surprising part? The harder you chase someone who keeps pulling away, the further you drift from becoming the person your ideal partner would naturally choose. Today, we'll uncover the psychology behind why letting go isn't giving up. It's often the first step toward attracting healthier, stronger, and more meaningful relationships. Stay until the end, because the final lesson has transformed the lives of countless people who finally stopped chasing and started growing. Part 1: Why your brain makes one person feel irreplaceable. Have you ever wondered why one person can occupy your thoughts all day? You replay conversations. You analyze text messages. You imagine different outcomes. Even when you're trying to focus on work or study, your mind quietly returns to them. This isn't because they're magically perfect. It's because your brain hates unfinished emotional stories. Psychologists call this the need for closure. When something important feels unresolved, your mind keeps returning to it, hoping to find an answer. Ironically, the more unavailable someone becomes, the more valuable your brain starts believing they are. Not because they actually are, but because uncertainty creates obsession. That's why many people mistake emotional anxiety for love. Part 2: The hidden price of chasing someone. Every day, your brain has limited emotional energy. Think of it like a battery. Every worry, every sleepless night, every imagined conversation, every social media check uses a little more of that battery. Now imagine spending months, or even years, investing most of that energy into someone who gives very little back. While you're emotionally exhausted, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass. Friendships weaken. Dreams are delayed. Not because you aren't capable, but because your attention has been captured by someone who isn't building your future with you. The greatest cost of unhealthy attachment isn't rejection. It's everything you stop becoming while waiting. Part 3: Why people naturally grow apart. One of the biggest myths about love is that feelings alone are enough. They're not. People evolve. Your goals change. Your values mature. The person you admired at 20 may not fit the life you want at 30. And that's completely normal. Growth doesn't always happen together. Sometimes two good people simply walk toward different futures. Holding on to someone who no longer shares your direction doesn't preserve love. It prevents progress. Healthy relationships aren't built on fear of losing someone. They're built on growing in the same direction. Part 4: Why self-respect is more attractive than desperation. Have you noticed something interesting? People who constantly chase approval often struggle to receive it. Meanwhile, those who genuinely enjoy their own lives naturally attract attention. Why? Because confidence signals emotional security. When your happiness depends entirely on another person, you unintentionally create pressure. But when your happiness comes from purpose, growth, friendships, health, and ambition, you become emotionally lighter. People don't simply fall in love with appearances. They fall in love with emotional experiences. Being around someone who has peace, purpose, and direction feels refreshing. And that's incredibly attractive. Part 5: Progress changes everything. Here's the turning point. Imagine spending the next year investing in yourself instead of chasing someone who keeps giving mixed signals. You learn new skills. You improve your health. You become financially stronger. You expand your social circle. You gain confidence through action. Suddenly, your conversations become more interesting. Your mindset becomes calmer. Your standards become healthier. You're no longer searching for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone who complements the life you've already built. That's a completely different kind of attraction. Part 6, the people you attract reflect the life you build. There's an old psychological principle. Environment shapes opportunity. The places you spend time. The habits you repeat. The goals you pursue. All influence the people you eventually meet. Someone dedicated to growth naturally crosses paths with others who value growth. Someone constantly trapped in emotional drama often remains surrounded by more drama. This isn't luck. It's direction. As your life changes, your relationships begin changing too. Not because you're pretending to be someone else, but because you've become someone different. Part 7, the truth most people learn too late. Many people spend years trying to convince the wrong person to choose them. Very few spend those years becoming someone they would personally admire. Ask yourself this. If you met yourself today as a complete stranger, would you be inspired? Would you feel safe? Would you enjoy building a future with that person? Real transformation begins when your answer becomes yes. Because the healthiest relationships don't start with chasing. They begin when two emotionally healthy people recognize each other's value. If someone constantly leaves you confused, makes you question your worth, or drains your peace, they may be teaching you the most valuable lesson of your life. Not how to hold on, but how to let go. Because letting go isn't losing. Sometimes it's making space. Making space for better opportunities. Better friendships. Better confidence. And eventually, better love. Remember this. The quality of your future relationships is often determined by the quality of the person you become today. Stop asking, how do I make someone choose me? Start asking, who am I becoming every single day? Because when your life is filled with purpose, the right people don't need convincing. They naturally want to be part of it. If this video changed the way you think about love, leave a comment with one word, progress. Subscribe to Psyche Sync for more insights into relationship psychology, emotional intelligence, and the hidden patterns that shape human behavior. Until next time, keep growing, because the strongest attraction always begins within. If someone constantly leaves you confused, makes you question your worth, or drains your peace, they may be teaching you the most valuable lesson of your life. Not how to hold on, but how to let go. Because letting go isn't losing. Sometimes it's making space. Making space for better opportunities. Better friendships. Better confidence. And eventually, better love. Remember this. The quality of your future relationships is often determined by the quality of the person you become today. Stop asking, how do I make someone choose me? Start asking, who am I becoming every single day? Because when your life is filled with purpose, the right people don't need convincing. They naturally want to be part of it. If this video changed the way you think about love, leave a comment with one word, progress. Subscribe to Psyche Sync for more insights into relationship psychology, emotional intelligence, and the hidden patterns that shape human behavior. Until next time, keep growing, because the strongest attraction always begins within.